Hello there everybody, Joe12 here, back again with Arc 2 of these 22 action shonens that I'm watching with my friends. Right off the bat, I know a lot of people like to skip ahead, so timestamps are down below if you don't want to listen to me ramble. I'll just say the scores first thing, so if that's what you care about, you can just skip. For those who want to listen to me ramble, hello, back again, Arc 2. This was really enjoyable. I'm really surprised how good the second arcs are. Because for the most part, I think most second arcs are better than the first arcs. With some notable exceptions that we'll get to. But, yeah, this was good. But the first thing we have here isn't very good. And we'll just jump on into this. First up, we have 7 Deadly Sins with the Forest of White Dreams arc, covering chapter 4 to 7, releasing in 2012, and the anime adaptation was episode 3 in 2014. Alright, so yeah, first up, 7 Deadly Sins. I think it is very good in my opinion. It's so teetering on the edge between B plus and A. I feel like I am biased when I am putting it in A, because this is the arc that introduces Diane, and I love Diane. Diane's great. She's cute. And I love the little dynamic she has with freaking Meliodas. My friend freaking hated this arc, but I loved it. I think it was very good. Like I said, I think if I didn't have my bias towards Diane, I think it probably would go in B plus, because this is a very basic arc where all they do is go into this forest and get attacked by guys, then meet Diane, and then get attacked by a Holy Knight, and the Holy Knight gets thrown away. That's pretty funny though. The Holy Knight just gets chucked by Diane. But yeah, and there's not really much to talk about. It's one episode, and yeah, I liked it. That's about it. Next up, we have My Hero Academia with the Quirk Apprehension Test arc, with covering chapter 5 to 7, and this was 2014, and it was covered in the anime in episode 5 in 2016. This arc, very good. I really like it. This is one of the ones where I don't think it's as good, but I mean, like, it's not trying to be as good as the first arc. It's just them testing their quirks and seeing how good they are. And it's really enjoyable. Just that small little premise. Like, Aizawa's wonderful, and I like Deku just only using his finger to power the ball. I freaking love Bakugo just getting pissed off that he's been lying to, in his mind, he's been lying to him his whole life that he actually does have a quirk, but Bakugo doesn't know that he was given this quirk. We also get a little bit more Ochako and Tenya, which is nice. Yeah, another very simple one episode arc, and I like it. Next up, we have Fairy Tail with the Daybreak arc, which covers chapter 4 to 9. It was released in 2006, and the anime adaptation was episode 3 to 4 in 2009. Fairy Tail, A+. I was honestly kind of surprised. I forgot how much I love the Daybreak arc. It's actually really great. The Lucy's wonderful in it. At first, it's just like it's just not following the mission to burn the book, but that was the right choice not to burn the book, because she brought it back to the guy's son, and he got to read his dad's last words that he wrote for him, and it's just really emotional and sweet. There's not really a ton going on in this arc either. It's just them being assigned to go to this mansion and burn a book. We do get introduced to the freaking Virgo. We get introduced to Virgo. And Virgo, I think Virgo is probably like one of the most used keys from this point on. So, yeah. Good we get introduced to Virgo, even if it's the fat form. I'm looking forward to the next arc, though, because that's when we get introduced to Urza. Man, these are pretty short. I don't really have much to say. It was good. Next up, we have Demon Slayer with the Kidnapper's Bog arc, which was chapter 10 to 13 in 2016. And in the anime, it was episode 6 to 7 in 2019. Demon Slayer, they are good, very good. Not as good as the first arc, but I still liked it. It was enjoyable. There's still another pretty short arc with really not a ton to talk about. Tanjiro just basically getting sent on this mission to deal with this demon who drags people into bogs. We do get to see Nezuko and do some stuff, and it's pretty cool. I think they like basically they kind of brainwashed, I think, Nezuko to make her defend humans, which I mean it's cool. She's fighting for humans now, and she's pretty awesome. And there's some cool fight sequences, but that's basically Demon Slayer's staple. This is one I was really upset that I'm doing this project for, because this arc ends on a huge cliffhanger with him finally finding the demon that kills the entire family, and then the demon just basically starts a big old brawl in the middle of the street in order to get Tanjiro off of his back. And I'm like, I want to watch more. I want to watch the next arc. But I also really want to watch Bleach's next arc, because that also ends on a kind of cliffhanger. So that's good. Just behind the scenes thing for arc 3. Those are going to be the things I'm watching first, is Bleach and Demon Slayer. Yeah, this was a very good arc still. I liked it. Next up, we have Fullmetal Alchemist, and I combined 3 one-chapter arcs together for this just single chapter arc thing, which is chapter 3 to 5, which was 2001. And this is an interesting one because Brotherhood, it didn't adapt to Mining Town or Battle on Train, which is really weird because Mining Town is really important and they like flash back to it later because of how important it is later. But they just don't adapt to these 2 arcs, so I had to watch episode 9 and 5, I think, because I think episode 7 is the Talking Chimera that Brotherhood did adapt in episode 4. And it was 2003 for the original and 2009 for Brotherhood. I'm gonna be upfront, like, this might be entirely front-loaded by the freaking Chimera arc, but that's not going to say that the freaking other 2 chapters aren't good. But oh my gosh, the Chimera arc, if I was ranking that alone, it probably would be number 1. Let's break it down though first, because I think there are some people who have not seen 03 or read the manga and have only watched Brotherhood, which I mean is fine. Brotherhood's fantastic. But the first chapter, I think, is the Mining Town one. Yeah. Which is an enjoyable little chapter where they go to this little mining town and have to get the payment from these... I can't remember if they have to get the payment or if they like invest. I think they're investigating what's going on with the mining town. I forgot exactly why they're there, because that's not really an important part of the arc for me. But yeah, they get once they find out Ed is alchemist, they just don't like him because they don't like alchemists in this town. since they're kind of taking their money and they kind of need the money to live. And also the freaking guy who's in charge, the military guy that's in charge of taking their money, Yoki's his name. Yoki's kind of just a piece of shit. So they probably have very bad experiences with the military, especially since freaking Yoki tries to burn the town. But I freaking love Ed's just ingenious plan to get one over on him is to just commit the ultimate taboo. Well, not the ultimate taboo. Commit one of the taboos that an alchemist cannot do, which is just create money. And he just creates these gold bars so that way he can buy the town from him. And basically frees these villagers from underneath his command, But the gold bars turn back to coal and he gets upset. Yeah. It's kind of funny in 03 that they introduce a new character that just is his bodyguard. I don't know why they introduce her. She doesn't really do anything. Maybe she comes back later. I don't know. But if that was enjoyable. And then the freaking next one was the train where there's a terrorist on the train that they got to deal with. And this has a lot of additions that 03 made. But I don't mind them because one of the choices they decided to make is adding Hugh to it. Because I think if I remember reading, I haven't watched 03 completely. I've watched bits and pieces. I think what 03 did with this first few arcs, this first few chapters, is they set them in the past instead of the present. So this is Ed's one of Ed's first missions instead of being the present day. And so Hugh doesn't know who he is really. But yeah, I freaking love Hugh. He's always great. I do really like the terrorist guy. He's metal arm. It's pretty cool. I think it's a gun thing. And it's it's a somewhat enjoyable. I think it's probably the most okay out of the three, but it's still good. I like it. Honestly, if I was probably gonna give the individual ones, I probably would say both Mining Town and Battle on the Train are A+. They're not as good as some of the peaks of Fullmetal. But like I said, the one carrying this single chapter arcs that I've categorized together is easily the Chimera Ant. Chimera Ant arc? What? Brain. Wrong arc. Is easily the Chimera arc. This is just so beautifully done and so tragic. And every time I watch it, I cry. Nina deserved better. And Shao Tucker deserved worse. And the poor dog, too. None of those. And also just Ed just beating himself up. I'm also going to introduce the Scar. Who just... it's cool. Yeah. You're fantastic. Peak. Literal peak. Oh, I don't think it's not the best Fullmetal, but it's great. Yeah. Next up, we have Magi with the Koga arc, and this is chapter 17 to 26. It was released in 2009, with the anime covering it in episode 4 and 5 in 2012. Magi, very good. I do really like this arc. I don't think it's as good as the dungeon arc, because I just really love Aladdin's and Alibaba's relationship, but I think it's really good. This is just Aladdin on his own with a separate clan, but it's done really well, and I really like the old lady that dies. It's just really sad, and We get to see another dungeon capture with the princess and her little genie, which is just fantastic character design, by the way. Yeah, this is good. I don't know what else really to say. Like, it's another really short arc with not much to say. But it's good. It's very good. I like it. But I am looking forward to seeing Aladdin and Alibaba reunite again. I think that happens next arc. I don't remember season 1 very well. We'll see. Next up, we have One Punch Man with the House of Evolution arc, which is chapter 5 to 11 and was released in 2012, with the anime covering it in episode 2 and 3 in 2015. One Punch Man, easy S. This is when One Punch Man started getting just amazing. I think this is probably one of the reasons why One Punch Man is so popular. Like, it started off with a really good first episode, and then we have the House of Evolution, where it's just like, oh my gosh. I freaking love... Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, so yeah, this starts off with the mosquitoes and Mosquito Girl. I freaking love Mosquito Girl. I love getting introduced to Genos, and he's just hilarious. I love that Genos... I know some people probably get tired of Genos because he's just a one-note gag. But I freaking love the one-note gag where he's literally just... His whole gag is just... He gets destroyed by something. He gets stronger, gets destroyed, gets stronger, and then gets destroyed. It's so hilarious constantly seeing Genos get more powerful and then consistently just get destroyed by something even more powerful. Oh, and I also just freaking love Saitama. Saitama just doesn't care, and you have this... The main threat of this thing is the House of Evolution, where they go to this building, and also Genos just freaking destroys it instantly. Oh, but Saitama is freaking great in this arc too, because you have the freaking Carnage Kabuta. Yeah, Carnage Kabuta. Who's just scared shitless by Saitama, because he has no guards, but he is so menacingly. He is so menacingly? He is so threatening, because he can sense how dangerous this man truly is. And we get to see that when he goes full out, and Saitama just punches him, and one punches him, and that's it. And he gets upset because he missed the freaking bargain sale. It's great. I don't think... he didn't miss the bargain sale. It's just that he didn't realize that it was the day of the bargain sale, and so they have to quickly run off to make sure they try to get to it. But I think he does miss it. I can't remember if they mentioned that. But also, even before that, the freaking moment of Saitama just chasing the mole under the ground and just showing up is so funny. I freaking love... One is just so good at writing. Like, I freaking love this arc. This arc is so great. Honestly, thinking about it, I don't know. I think there's probably like 2 arcs that I would probably say are better. One we are ranking, which is the end of this first season. But I don't think we're ranking the monster, the House of... what is it called? Yeah, we are ranking the alien one, but we're not ranking the Monster Association, because the next season of this anime, season 3, should not cover it all, unless they cut a lot. So I think we will have to wait for another season to fully adapt this arc. And hopefully they do it justice, because it's so great. But House Evolution, S. Freaking fantastic. Love this arc. Next up, we have Fire Force with the versus Special Fire Force Company 5 arc. What the crap is that title? With chapter 13 to 20 released in 2016, and the anime adapted it episode 5 to 7 in 2019. Fire Force also going to get an A. I think this is a similar thing to Seven Deadly Sins, though I feel like I can justify it being an A more than just the fact that I'm horny for the main female of this arc. Because there's actually some good stuff in this. I do like her backstory of being in the church with the other nun lady and the entire church just burning and her having to watch everyone that she loves burn alive. I mean, it's tragic. And also I freaking love after after Shinra, I think his name is Shinra, after Shinra just beats her up and she just falls in love with him, which is hilarious. I'm really looking forward to seeing where these two characters go. I don't think there's like a romance there. I think it's just a one-sided thing with her. But I do really like it. I thought it was very good. There was some good action in here too, besides just the Shinra versus lady. I can't remember her name. I don't care enough to look it up. Because there was also the other Fire Force members that fought outside the Company 5 headquarters. Because you have the guy who can shoot guns. You have the freaking Arthur, who's so stupid. I love Arthur sometimes, but also I hate Arthur sometimes. This was good. I thought it was very good. It's one of the shows I haven't watched, so I'm curious where it goes from here. Hey. Boppity boop. Next up, we have Spy Family with the Admissions Interview arc, which is chapter 3 to 6, released in 2019, and the anime covered this in episode 3 to 5 in 2022. This is S. Freaking, I love Spy Family, and I love the freaking dynamic between the whole family. I didn't think I would rank it this highly, honestly, when I was like trying to think back to this arc. But watching it again, I'm just like, oh my gosh. The whole like walk to the freaking admissions test is just so great. I love that Lloyd prepared 3 different outfits for his family. And then the interview itself is just wonderful. I love that you can tell that this mission matters to him more than just the fact that it's a mission. He gets so riled up, and I love just him punching the mosquito. And the freaking elegance guy is so wonderful as well. I love him. He's hilarious. And I love him just like, oh, you got in because, you killed a mosquito. One of the most deadly things to humanity. So good job. And then it ends off with a celebration, I guess you would call it, for Anya, where she gets to like play being a princess, and Lloyd, it has to be the spy. And I think there's like quite a bit of filler in this episode, but I think it's for the best, because adding more to this chapter is wonderful. I love seeing drunk Yor. She's just drunk the whole time. And for seeing Frankie get so into the role is hilarious too. I love this whole arc. This arc's great. This is peak. This might be the best that is currently adapted. Maybe the cruise ship arc goes higher, but I don't know. We'll see. I also didn't think this would be as high as it is, but it is. I do really like it. Next up is D.Gray-man with the Ghost of Mater arc, which is chapter 8 to 16, released in 2004, and episode 3 to 5 in the anime. It was released in 2006. This arc is great. This is so wonderful, and actually kind of moved me at the end. The beginning of the Ghost of Mater is alright. I don't think it starts off too terribly great. They get sent to deal with this doll, and it doesn't really get great until like the last episode or last two episodes, when we like find out like the doll is this girl. And oh my gosh, I they kind of cut it out of the anime, but I freaking love the manga. It's just straight up like, yeah, this guy is ugly, and he was ugly as a kid. But yeah, this ugly guy he had this doll his whole life, and really they have a special bond together, and she sings this beautiful song for him as he dies. And there's also this other freaking Akuma that they're fighting during the arc as well, but that doesn't really, who cares? I mean, the important thing is the freaking doll. And just, though I guess the Akuma does matter, because unfortunately the Akuma shows up at the place where the doll's hiding, and rips like the soul or something, I can't remember exactly, out of the doll. And for when Alan defeats the Akuma and gives the heart back to the doll, it doesn't remember. It resets, but it still sings. I think like it sings one final song for him until he dies, and Alan just lets it until, because their mission is to retrieve the heart, and Alan just lets the doll just keep singing until it's dead. It's great. Though I do like some of the Akuma stuff, because it was pretty cool how the Akuma could like copy people, and we got to see Alan fight himself. I remember there was differences between the anime and manga. I just don't remember them off the top of my head right now. I don't think it's anything really noteworthy. But I did really like this. This was a great arc. And it has me looking forward to watching more of D.Gray-man. I hope that it continues being this good. Next up we have Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Def T arc, covering chapter 26 to 40, released in 1997. And the anime covered this arc in episode 22 to 24 in 1998. Yu-Gi-Oh! I know people disagree. This is S. This is... I've said a couple times that some of these arcs are the best, and maybe there's other ones that beat it. This is easily the second best. I know which one is the first, but Def T is so freaking fantastic. There's nothing else like it in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because for those who have only watched the English, or even just only the Duel Monsters show, this is an arc where Kaiba kidnaps Yugi's grandpa and forces him to participate in this death games. And it's not just death games, it is publicly televised death games at his theme park. Like, there's an entire crowd of people watching these games, and It's just insane. Uh, the There's some that are cut. Yeah, first we have the Stardust shootout where they're basically getting electrocuted by these guns in this freaking laser tag arena by professional like assassins and spies. And yeah, that's it. I do have to mention there's a pretty big difference between the anime and manga with the first part of the Def T games, because in the anime they all go together to the games, but in the manga they meet up together. I think Honda is taking care of someone's child he's babysitting when he runs into them at the theme park. And so this baby's going through it as well. And they run into Anzu, who is basically the instructor, basically telling the rules for the Stardust shootout. And she joins them because after she finds out why they're there. And the baby helps with a lot of these tasks, if I remember correctly. Because, like, in the manga, the baby is holding the gun for Honda when he walks up to the assassins and is like, I'm empty-handed, you can just shoot me. But the baby then throws the gun up in the air and Honda takes it and shoots all three of them. Whereas the anime Miho is Miho, who doesn't exist. Not really. I don't count her as existing. She just shoots them all wildly, which is kind of funny. And then one of the ones that was cut was the electric chair ride, where they basically have to be quiet while they're going through a horror, ride, or else they get electrocuted in an electric chair. And how they manage to win is the baby gets onto I think it's Hobbs. I know his name is Hobbs, and I think the dub. I don't remember what his actual name is in the Japanese. Freaking Kaiba's Butler gets in the lap of the baby. Gets in the lap of the Kaiba's Butler and just shits in his lap, and he screams and gets electrocuted. it's what the fuck? Yeah, then after that we have a game that changes between the two, but is basically the same, where Yugi has to figure out where the correct lever is based on a puzzle. And in the manga, their hands are in like a guillotine thing that will get cut off if you pull the wrong lever. Whereas in the anime, there is a metal robot that is coming towards them and will crush them to death if they don't get it correctly. Which I think makes the anime much worse. And then after that is another cut one where they go into this basement and have to get this light from a wall, but in the way is a serial killer with a chainsaw. And so Jinochi has to try to dodge this guy with a chainsaw and get the candle. Oh yeah, and then after that we have the falling blocks one, where we unfortunately lose Honda because he gets stuck under a block. But he's thankfully not dead because he shows up later. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember how it is in the anime. I can't remember how he shows up again in the anime now. Oh, that's right. I remember. The anime decides to add a thing where another game where you basically have to fight a fighting game thing to get Grandpa and Honda back. Whereas in the manga, Grandpa's currently in the hospital for almost having a heart attack from VR, and Honda's nowhere to be seen until later when he just magically shows up to save the day. Because, yeah, Jinochi and Miho are the ones who do that. Miho doesn't exist, and Jinochi is just standing watching with Anzu. Well, they're not just standing and watching, they're also being held at gunpoint. Because, yeah, after that is the Capsule Monster game with Mokuba. And that's also really good. I love the Capsule Monster game. I love how Yugi manages to beat him. And I love the little speech at the end he gives Mokuba. And then we finally have the card game between Kaiba and Yugi, where we get to see the Yu-Gi-Oh game once again, and for the final time in the original run of the manga before it just became about Duel Monsters. Which I like this duel. I feel like it's not really done justice in the anime, but I think that's because the anime's focus wasn't on duels, and so they wanted to put in a filler scene with the game I mentioned where Jinochi's trying to free Honda and Grandpa. And unfortunately, because of that, a Dark Magician gets cut, even though Dark Magician is very important. But we do get the Exodia moment, which is really good. But I think the next show, the Duelist show, does a better job at the Exodia scene. At least it's more epic. But yeah, he beats Kaiba and basically puts him in a coma until Duel's Kingdom. And yeah, the friends are still held at gunpoint though, so Honda just shows up out of nowhere and beats up the guys and saves them. And yeah, that's that. I feel like I had to go in detail for this one because I feel like not a lot of people have watched this or read it, and it's fantastic. I freaking loved FT. I think my friends thought it was a little slow, but I freaking love the games. I freaking love how just enjoyable it is to watch for me. I love the characters. Kaiba and Mokuba are such pieces of shit in this arc. It's great to watch. Easy S tier for me. Next up, we have Black Butler with the Red Butler arc, which is chapters 6 to 14, released in 2007. And the anime adapted this arc episode 4 to 6 in 2008. I was honestly really surprised coming back to this. I actually really love this arc. I was not expecting, especially a season 1 arc, to be in the top 10 right now for my favorite arcs. But these 3 episodes are so great in my opinion. I love the first episode where Ciel has to investigate this guy in the mansion and has to cross-dress to get near him. And we find out it's not even the right guy. There's still another guy out there. But they're not looking for a guy because turns out Jack the Ripper isn't even a human being. It's Growl. But Growl was working with a human being. Ciel's out. And holy shit, I forgot about her completely, and I don't know how. Because, oh my gosh, her flashback is so just depressing. And they cut stuff from it too. Like, it could have been longer. But yeah, her story is tragic, and I'm so sad that she doesn't come back because she's dead. But then episode 3 we have Growl and versus Sebastian, and I freaking love Growl. Growl's just like goblin energy. he's so chaotic, and I love. I keep saying him, her. Apparently, Growl is she. I don't know how I didn't realize that first time watching, but second time watching, I caught that this time. She's great. I freaking love Growl, and yeah, I'm really surprised by how much I really liked the Red Butler arc. Next up, we have Soul Eater and the Remedial Lessons arc, which is chapter 1 to 3, released in 2004, and the anime covered it in episode 4 to 6 in 2008. Soul Eater, A+. Great. I enjoyed the prologue, but one of the things I really wanted to see from Soul Eater was all the characters coming together, and we mostly get that with this arc. And I think this was like one of, if not the first thing we watched. So my brain is struggling to remember exactly what happened. I do remember we had Maka and Soul and Black Star and Tsubaki going to this graveyard. Oh, that's right. This teacher became a zombie, and they had to go deal with that. And there was a good fight there, but then they had to go to the scientist who had made him, and it was the partner of Maka's dad, and he's really great. I freaking love that character. He's wonderful. He can just like see people's souls. I freaking love seeing the little souls of people. And this also had some really good stuff. Unfortunately, though, we don't actually get all of them coming together. Not at this point, because Def the Kid. Yeah, Def the Kid is still annoying me with his freaking cemetery thing, because he runs off to go and help them, but gets distracted by something. I can't remember what bullshit they use. But it's fine, because there was apparently a test all along, and he's not actually a villain. And I think, the final episode was Soul and Black Star trying to work together to fight Death the Kid, who has transferred to the school. And that was enjoyable too. I like the battle between them. It was neat to see that you can use another's weapon, but you can't use them well unless your souls are of the same frequency. And I also love the freaking gag at the end where Maka's just like, I can't sense Def's soul. Apparently he doesn't have a soul. But the camera pans back and it's just his soul covers the entire school. Yeah, it's good stuff. I freaking am looking forward to watching more Soul Eater as well. This show is great. Next up, we have One Piece with the Orange Town arc, which is chapter 8 to 21, released in 1997, and the anime, episode 4 to 8, released in 1999. This arc, A+. Great. I freaking love Buggy. I love the little bit with the dog and him defending his owner's shop, even though his owner's dead, I think. Almost all of these shows I am watching in dub. The only one I am not watching dubbed is Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's mostly because of censorship issues with the English dub. One Piece, we were watching the English dub until we got to this arc, and I heard Buggy. My experience with Buggy is the live action, and oh my gosh, the live action Buggy is so great. I knew the actor from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I was so happy to see him. And when I heard the English Buggy, I was just like, this ain't it. This ain't Buggy. I don't like it. So we had to switch to the Japanese, and the Japanese Buggy is really good. But yeah, no, this is really good. I love to see them defending the town. We get to see Zoro fight. We get to see Nami just running away and trying to steal loot. I don't really know what else to say about this arc. It's kind of just pretty simple. Just try to stop Buggy from destroying this town. Which is, yeah, it's good. That's about it. It's great. One Piece is a great story. And yeah, as long as there isn't too much filler, I'm pretty sure a lot of these One Piece arcs are going to be pretty high up. Next up, we have Black Clover and the Dungeon Exploration arc, which is chapter 11 to 21, released in 2015, and the anime covered this in episode 14 to 19 in 2018. This is still a C. I do think the manga is better. I think it's above average. This arc is just alright. But, oh my gosh, the anime, it's so annoying. Asta thankfully isn't screaming so much, but instead we have the freaking noble guy and him just being a general prick. But he does get better at the end. But I think a big reason why the anime is lower for me is the CGI in this arc is just so bad. Like, I'm willing to forgive the smoke not looking as good as the manga, because it's probably not easy to do good looking smoke. But almost like everything that the other guy did freaking just looked horrible. The only reason why it gets a C and the other arc gets a B is because there is some actually good stuff in here. I do like I do like this new guy that gets introduced, this villain, and it's fascinating that you could apparently stitch two books together and just have two elemental abilities. But it's also really sad that the book that gets stitched to his is his dead friend who he had to murder, and they wanted to go see the world together, but Asta does wake him up and he remembers everything afterwards. So maybe there'll be something he does later down the line. And we also get to see Yuno, and Yuno was pretty cool. I kind of did like Yuno in this arc. He had the double ability that he did. I fucking can't remember what the proper term is. Where he used two spells to stack, which is cool. And then he also got a new spell where he summoned like a fairy thing that stopped time and just destroyed the villain. And yeah, it was just a nice little arc of exploring the dungeon, and you got to see some cool fights. Well, you got to read some cool fights, and then if you're watching the anime, you got to watch fights. Yeah. I think I'm also just like so hard on it because this came out 2018 and the CG looks this bad. I really hope the show doesn't continue with this and that it gets better. This because this is still C. It's better than the first one. And if I scroll down a little bit farther, there's the first arc. I thought it was just like at the bottom of C, but this. I think this is average. This is an average arc for the anime. Next up, we have Reincarnated as a Slime with a disturbance in the forest arc, which was volume 2, released in 2014, and the manga covered this chapter 12 to 27, 2016 to 2017, and the anime covered this episode 9 to 15, which was in 2018 to 2019. Slime, once again, S tier. I really like this arc, actually. I think, this is when we get introduced to the lizard folks, and we have Gabi, what the fuck the lizard guy's name is, who is so stupid annoying. But I love that it gets beat by the freaking the weak goblin. It's great. But yeah, we get introduced to the big threat of this arc is the orcs, and there's apparently a grand orc that was possessed by the Demon King guy, and now it's really tragic because this village of orcs was like starving to death, and so he gave these orcs the ability to always be hungry, but when they feast on things, they gain their power. Like, oh my gosh. And yeah, like I said, we learned about the tragic backstory of the villain after Rimuru absorbs him, which is a horrifying scene where the friggin' because he's just feasting on everybody, Rimuru's just like, alright, I'm gonna feast on you. It just absorbs him. and then we learn about his past, and I really love the scene of them being like, oh, we've committed so many sins though, and we've killed so many people, and Rimuru's like, I'll take on all your sins. So, and it's just, yeah, I love Rimuru. Rimuru's great. And oh man, we get to see a lot of the other people do really cool things. The wolf freaking just annihilating a bunch of people, just a bunch of orcs being destroyed by the goblins. Yeah, I think it was this arc where they do upgrade the village with like a bunch of things, and this village is starting to really shape up. I really like Slime. It's good. I'm really glad that I got to pick up this show, and I am looking forward to watching more of this show as well. I feel like every single show I'm looking forward to watching. Why do I need to mention it every time? But yeah, this is good. I love Slime. Next up, we have Jujutsu Kaisen with the Fearsome Womb arc, which is chapter 1 to 18, released in 2018, and episode 1 to 8, released in 2020. So yeah, this is the first arc of the anime, and I think it is S tier. This is a fantastic start to Yuji Itadori's story, and also fantastic, we get to see more of Gojo. There's a lot that happens in this arc, but Gojo is freaking fantastic. I love his domain expansion. I love Yuji Itadori. And he just like, he gets possessed by Sukuna and is willing to just die so that way his friend Megumi doesn't get killed. But thankfully he manages to make a pact with Sukuna and continue living. And then he starts getting trained by Gojo. Yeah, we get introduced to Megumi and Nobara this arc too, and Sukuna, and yeah, Megumi and Nobara, fantastic. I love the original team. It's, oh man, my friend that I'm watching this with, both of them have not seen the show yet. Not gonna say anything in case people haven't seen the Shibuya incident arc yet. But this is fantastic. I honestly don't know if any arcs aren't gonna be S tier, because Jujutsu Kaisen is just peak. It's great. This is peak Shonen. But clearly there is something that I do like better, and we'll get to that when we get to that. which is actually right now. Next up, we have Attack on Titan with the Struggle for Trust arc, which was chapter 3 to 14, released from 2009 to 2010, and the anime adapted this in episode 4 to 13 in 2013. This right here is my favorite right now. This is my favorite arc of them all. I freaking love Attack on Titan. It's so weird that the anime decided to just like put the flashback arc before this, just completely ruining the momentum that the manga had. But it's still so fantastic. I don't think it's not really a big deal if you watch it the way that the anime has it, but I do think it's an interesting choice, especially since I think it's chapter 6, maybe chapter 5 or 6 that Eren gets eaten. Like we get started with this show, with this manga. We see Eren is graduated. He wants to kill all the Titans, and then we see he's graduated from the Survey Corps, and he's going to fight the Titans. The Colossus shows up, and then we go to fight the other Titans and lose. And our main character is dead. Whereas in the anime, we've spent way more time with Eren at this point, and then we lose him in, I think, episode 6. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at remembering this stuff. Looking it up, it is chapter 4 actually that it happens in the manga. That is so crazy early, which is episode 5 in the anime. It doesn't seem like that much. It doesn't seem like it's that much farther in the show, having it be episode 5. But if the show followed the manga more closely, this could have been episode 2 or 3 where we lost the main character. It's not that big of a deal. I just thought I would point it out because it's neat. It's definitely an interesting choice. But also we have freaking Sawano with the soundtrack, and there's just so many wonderful songs. I'm so sad that Reluctant Heroes is one of the 2 songs that's never used again, because it's one of my favorites, and it only plays during the scene where Levi and Hanji are fighting. But we also have the fantastic flashback sequence with Mikasa remembering Eren helping defend her against these kidnappers. Well, not just kidnappers, freaking human slavery people. And also it's great to see that her Ackerman thing get unlocked. And then the big thing, Eren becoming a Titan and seeing him fight against the other Titans. The Titan is wonderful. Him getting interrogated by the freaking military police is so stressful because of the idiot in charge. But thankfully Pixis shows up, and an actually sensible person. And then the mission to plug the hole is wonderful. It's especially sad though, watching it again, knowing that while this heroic thing is happening, Marco is somewhere else just dying. Being murdered, basically. But they do plug the hole, and it's great. And yeah, this is peak. This is the peak for me. Does it get better? Yes, and yes it does. I think there will be things that surpass it. Will something surpass it in Arc 3? I doubt it. But right now, yeah, it's S. Next up, we have Hunter x Hunter with the Heaven's Arena arc, which is chapter 44 to 63, which was released in 1999. And the first anime adaptation covered this arc, episode 37 to 44, in 2000, and the 2011 anime covered this in episode 27 to 36 in 2012. Hunter x Hunter, another S. I have so many S's, but I freaking love Heaven's Arena. This is so great. I love seeing Gon and Killua learning about Nen, and I'm a huge nerd for the whole like Nen system anyway. I really love when shows can delve into the power systems, and I think Hunter x Hunter does that the best with how complicated it can be with the whole what do you call it? With all the specialties and stuff. It's really enjoyable to learn about it. And it's also really great to see these two kids just continually get stronger, even though they are already ridiculously strong. And it's also nice to see them train alongside a fellow student who is, still learning as well, and we'll never see again. It's so sad that it never shows up. There's a lot of characters that just never show up again. But we also get the fight between Gon and Hisoka in this, and it's wonderful. I freaking love Hisoka. The freaking psychotic clown that he is. And I think there's some great strategies that Gon employs, and Killua does as well. Like, their fight scenes that they have are wonderful. I also really love the other spider that gets introduced after Hisoka has his match with that one guy. We get introduced to the spider that just can needle. Yeah. This is fantastic. This is easy S tier. And the next arc is going to be even better. I can't wait for my friend to watch it, because this is one of my friend's first time watching Hunter x Hunter. So I'm curious how she feels about Yorknu when we get there. Next up, we have Dragon Ball with the tournament arc, which is chapter 24 to 54, and was released in 1985. And the anime adapted this in episode 14 to 28 in 1986. This is very good. This is when I think the best arcs in Dragon Ball are the tournament arcs, and this first one is wonderful. This also has the training between Goku, Roshi, and Krillin, which is also great because we also get introduced to Lunch, or Lunch in the Japanese, and Lunch is fantastic. I freaking love her and her whole gimmick of sneezing, becoming this angry person. But also the tournament is so fun to watch when you know like the rest of the series, because it's so different from the other tournaments that he does. Since this is still a gag manga, there's a lot of gag fights, but I think I really enjoy them. Like Krillin versus Bacterian is still, I like that. Goku versus the weird monster with the the weird stretchy thing. You also have Roshi versus Yamcha, and he just destroys Yamcha in one go. Doesn't even really respect him. I think he just blows him. I think he just pushes him with wind out of the arena. And then also Roshi versus Kirin. Freaking amazing match. I love that they are moving so fast, nobody can track them. And so they stop their fight and just show everybody what they were doing. It's so hilarious. And then also Roshi versus Goku is amazing. It's probably like one of the best fights in Dragon Ball. I love that we get freaking Roshi, who's apparently strong enough to just blow up the moon. And yeah, where Roshi's able to beat Goku because he's bigger, which is funny. He has longer legs, so he's able to kick harder. Ooh. Kick him in the face harder. And he wins. And yeah. And at the end, the Goku flies off to go on his own journey to collect the Dragon Balls. I think, yeah, he goes off to find the 4-star ball. That's his true goal, to find his grandpa again. But yeah, this is a very good arc of Dragon Ball. Next up, we have Bleach with the Sneak Entry arc, which is chapter 71 to 118, released 2003 to 2004, and the anime adapted this episode 21 to 41 in 2005. Oh my gosh, this arc, Bleach, it's so good. One of the things I complained about with the first arc was the fact that we cut it away from the stuff I cared about to the school, but with this arc, it's just we don't have any of that. They go to the Soul Society. There's a little bit of a breather area after they get to the gate and aren't able to get in, but I still really enjoyed that bit where they were like in the poor part of town and had to figure a way over the wall. But yeah, once they get over the wall by firing themselves out of a cannon and into the actual Soul Society, well, not into the actual main area, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember the name of it. It's just full gas from there. It is so entertaining. I love all the fights that happen. Ichigo's great. And I actually really like the other guy that comes with them. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, he's really enjoyable too. It's funny how much he just runs away all the time. And we have freaking Chad just being the ultimate Chad and just destroying everything in his path until he runs into one of the captains and gets destroyed himself. And we have Uryu and Obumi. She doesn't really do much, but Uryu does some cool stuff. I like Uryu. We also get Ichigo versus the red-haired guy that he fought the first time. I can't remember his name now, but that was also really good. The fight between Ichigo and the big guy in the black outfit. Kenpaku? I can't remember. I'm so bad with names. But that was so good. And him like unlocking his Zenpakuto again is so wonderful. I love that the other guy is so strong even though he doesn't even talk to his sword. I also love his little friend that he always has with him. She's cute. And then they also get introduced to Rukia's friend who helps them get to the tower. I like him. We also get a good like flashback of Rukia and Renji, I think is his name, the red hair guy. Which is good. I really like that flashback between when they were kids living with the other dead kids. It's really sad that they I guess it's sad. Is it sad? Is it happy? It's sad that they were left behind when their friends got reincarnated got reincarnated. But yeah, then Rukia and Renji becoming soul eaters. Is that right? No, that's fucking wrong. What the fuck, brain? Yeah, this was a really long one, but it was so good. And it also ends on a big reveal that the cat that they've had this whole time is this sexy lady who I have seen a lot of art of, and I freaking love her too. She's great. I didn't really get to see much of her because this arc ends with her rescuing Ichigo from one of the captains, and yeah, I think they're going off the train, and I can't wait to watch that. I really want to watch more Bleach. Bleach is probably the one show that right now I am thinking about canceling the project just so I can watch all of Bleach. I'm not going to, but I've thought about it. Because Bleach is great. Next up, we have Naruto with the Chunin Exams arc, which is chapter 34 to 115, which was 2000 to 2002. And the anime adapted this episode 20 to 67, which is 2003 to 2004. And this is so long. But I still really like it. I think it's very good. Probably because filler. Because manga-wise, I think it's great. I think it is great. There's some amazing fights. I actually got really engaged into the written exam. And then the forest was really cool too. Them trying to get the scrolls. And then the tournament was wonderful. The Gaara versus Rock Lee fight was amazing. But unfortunately, they have a break before the finals. And the manga goes over it pretty quickly. It is kind of ruining the flow, but they do kind of go over it pretty quickly. Whereas the anime, it just adds so much unnecessary filler. And it takes so long to get back to the action. But when we do get back to the action, the first thing we have is freaking one of the best fights. I think the best fight of the arc, probably. Yeah. Freaking, I love Naruto versus, I don't remember what his name is. But yeah, I freaking love that fight. And also the flashback was really sad, learning about how his dad was killed. Not for nefarious purposes like he thought, but because his brother didn't want, but because his brother was going to have to die and he wanted to die for his brother. I'm struggling to come up with words. I have been talking for way too long, and this arc is so long. There is so many things I could talk about, and I'm just struggling to find things to talk about. Sasuke, I guess, yeah, talk about the characters. Naruto is a mixed bag in this arc, but I do like where he ends up. He is able to summon the giant frog guy, which is cool. And also his fight was wonderful. Him punching through the ground and hitting him. Sasuke wasn't really involved much in the second half, but in the first half he had that really cool moment where he got possessed by the mark that I can never pronounce this villain's name. Got possessed by the mark on him and transformed, and it was really cool. And then his fight with Gaara was also really cool before it got interrupted by the attack on the village. And then Sakura had some good moments. I didn't hate the fight between Sakura and her friend. I just don't like that these two continually talk about the boy that they like. But it seems like after their fight, they have finally reconciled their differences and have come back together as friends and are trying to be better. And yeah, I'm curious where Sakura goes from here. I like that she recognizes how cool Rock Lee is. Rock Lee is so cool. It's so sad though. He just destroys his body. He's basically just prototype Midoriya. and I love him for that. Gaara's really cool. I love Gaara and his sand abilities. He's terrifying. the rest of the Sand People are cool. I really love learning about their abilities. Really sad the smoker teacher was murdered. Yeah, it was sad. There was a few sad moments in this arc. But it was really good. It was a really good arc. I can't really think of anything else I really want to talk. I need to talk about, but I also can't really think since I've been talking for so long. I think it's probably been like 2 hours. Oh yeah, the Naruto, the Chunin exams are great. It's not nowhere near as good as the Land of Waves arc. I don't get the people. I've heard the people say this is their favorite. I don't get it. Land of Waves is much better in my opinion. But I still like this. Like I said, without the filler, I think it's A+. Yeah, I'm looking forward to where Naruto goes from here. And yeah, that's it for Arc 2. So this is my list of favorite arcs for Arc 2. We have the top 10 being Attack on Titan, then Fullmetal Alchemist, Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach, Black Butler, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, Spy Family, Reincarnated Slime, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are my top 10. And if you want to read the full list, you can pause and look. And then here we have the list of averages for all of the things we've ranked together. And once again, you can pause if you want to read what our average rankings are for all the arcs. And then this list here is all of the S tiers that we have rated. And I have way more S tiers than anyone else this time around. I just really like Arc 2. This is the full tier list of everything on it. It's a little hard to read the names. I'm starting to think I won't even be able to fit everything on here. I don't know what I'm going to do about this tier list. I'm going to have to figure out a solution. Maybe I'm just going to make it bigger. I might just make it bigger. Also, so many S tiers. But I do generally think that there is just so many just fantastic arcs in these shows. Maybe I'll rearrange them at some point, but right now this is where I'm at. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed this long video of me yapping about anime way too long. And yeah, you all have a good day or a good night wherever you are. And bye. See you for Arc 3.